Hello friends, today we are going to study decision making process in management. Following points we are going to study in detail with different examples in each and every point. First of all, let us understand meaning of decision making. According to Kunz and O'Donnell, decision making is the actual selection from among alternatives of a course of action. It is at the core of planning. Decision making is not an easy job. It requires a lot of skill. A decision making is affected by a number of factors. So, the manager can take good decision by adapting a procedure. The decision making process depends upon the nature of the problem and the nature of the organization. So now let us understand steps involved in decision making process in detail. Step number 1. Identification of a problem. Identifying a problem means recognizing a problem. The problem arises because of the difference between what is and what should be. Changes in the business environment are the main reason for creating a problem. Therefore, the manager must define what the problem is. A well-defined problem is half solved. For example, if a machine stops working due to the unavailability of screw is the problem in this case. Step number 2. Diagnosing the problem. There is a small difference between identifying the problem and diagnosing the problem. For example, a doctor can diagnose a patient's illness. The patient cannot find out what the real disease is, but the doctor can do so with the information given by patient. The information is very useful for the doctor. In management, the manager acts as a doctor when diagnose the problem. Step number 3. Collect and analyze the relevant information. The manager must study the information very carefully. It is very useful to analyze the problem from different angles. If the problem is analyzed from different angles, a quick and quality decision can be made by the manager. The manager must verify that only the relevant information alone is collected and analyzed. For example, if you own a marketing consultancy and you are considering a pay-per-click advertising campaign, you may want to have information such as which keyword customers use most when searching for results related to consulting. Step number 4. Discovery of alternative course of action. Creative thinking is necessary to develop or discover many alternative course of action. If there is no alternative, there is no need to make a decision. If there are more and more alternatives, the manager will have more freedom to make decisions. A problem can be solved in several ways. At the same time, a solved problem should not arise again in the future. For example, most people believe they must have a car to go to work. However, they should consider other alternatives such as public transportation, renting a car, share car ownership, or a company car. Step number 5. Analysis of alternatives. The generation of alternatives must be followed by a thorough analysis of the pros and cons of each alternatives. In other words, the alternatives must be evaluated to see how effective each would be. The decision maker can prepare a list of limits for each alternatives. For example, consider two alternatives that are equally risky, but one will cost more and the other will take longer to implement. In this case, the decision would depend on whether cost or time is more important. Step number 6. Selection of best alternative. Now, after careful evaluation, the decision maker can select the best alternative. An alternative that gives maximum benefit to the organization is selected. At the same time, the selected alternative must suit organizational objectives. For example, try to decide which car to buy. What is important to us? That will help us determine which car best suit our situation. Is it style, comfort, noise, fuel consumption, speed, price, available payment terms, reliability, etc. Step number 7. Conversion of decision into action. Finally, it is time to act. Based on all your thinking, analysis, and evaluation, now is the time to implement the decision. Remember, whether the decision you have made is correct or not will only be determined if you implement it. The implementation of the decision requires constant monitoring so that the expected result of the optimal course of action are obtained. For example, the upgrade of an IT infrastructure must be planned in a series of stages that in total span a period of months or years. Step number 8. Verifying the decision. Managers should monitor the decision implementation process to make sure everything is progressing according to plan. You must also ensure that the problem that started the decision-making process has been resolved. For example, we need to check that after starting COVID-19 vaccination program, are we able to solve corona pandemic problem or not? Friends, thank you for watching my video. If you like my video, then please subscribe to my channel Management by Dr. Mitul Dhimar and share my videos. Thank you.